10. His cold eyes watched the war. If there's no stronger trump card. So that's what it is. Move the scene to the battle side. Rat is standing from a distance, staring at the agent who's been hit. The dust doesn't stop flying out. He doesn't know the situation either. Hyan Yu is inside the rubble, silently transmits sound with the fairy crane. This old man, I'm a little confused with the devil's tricks. I can't believe that only humans can use it. It's really eye-opening, and the crane is on one side. Suffering in response. Old cranes. We are no longer able to fight anymore. The power of these swords. Stronger than conventional air. Rely only on me. Just avoided the sword. I just fought with the devil. It takes half a life. Stand on one side waiting. His face was a little wrinkled. I can't stand raw. I saw it very clearly. The swordsman hit him. But probably not at all. Otherwise, it's hard to explain. There's powerful life in those ruins. Hyan Yu hides in the ruins. Thoughts are constantly spinning. If you use that in reverse, they can solve the evil gods without wasting this life. But they will be rats. Here technology can see through glass. It's hard to choose. Go on the sun yin side. The wind suddenly spoke up. The sage is about to lose. He just finished. The Lord also made a decision. One of his arms sticking out from under the rock. What he's going to do is excellent dry school entry feng spring. Very quickly take the Hyan Vu as the center. There are countless roots growing. Towards the carpentry side. Sun yin people through glass. You can also see this trick. Bak Poing comprehensible glance at the frequency of Duong asked, why do you say that Han Vu will surely win? Calmly explain the frequency. Because the great school dry item feng spring of strict Hoa. It's a fairy tale. Never left. So many traces in a long history. This excellent retention can interfere with time. Move the scene to the battle side. Looking at the roots of the tree is very difficult to understand. This time I changed it to a magic trick. After thinking for a moment, he shouted at Mars. To his cry, a sword. The other is plugged next to it, and there is a movement. It immediately soared high. Next, bring the intense fire. Down to the roots. See the enemy coming out. The sound of Hyan Vu inside the tree's root center. Immediately echoed. It's useless. It's the nature of plants to be so vibrant. Dried carpentry feng spring. It's the ultimate in carpentry engineering. It's not just plants that move. It's also the power of time. You can't understand the meaning. Their symbolism. There's no way to stop them from overflowing. When I finished listening, my face was a little wrinkled. Then he quickly disappeared on the spot. As soon as he disappeared, the roots of the tree immediately hit him. The sword in the air. Look at the roots that are constantly spreading Kier aesthetic. These plants are not afraid of being burned. How about a different way to destroy the soul? When he finished, a knife next to him fell. Where it hits the roots, it dies instantly. I see that in my heart. Not afraid of being burned. It shows that it's very powerful. But how intense is the life force? There is no soul to hide. They will not die immediately. The sword attacks the soul. I was born to handle these things. How long has he not been pleased? Where the tree's roots were destroyed, the sword dried up. And yet, there are little shoots that are constantly growing. I saw this scene and my face dropped. I don't know what I'm thinking. In the plant's root center, the horseman also saw it. Time was a little different. He yelled out his hand again. Ha Kai School aging. Following this move just came out. The surrounding environment immediately changed. The house quickly aged and decayed. The sword next to it slowly disappeared. Become a coin of karma. Glass of the sun, yin people. It also quickly melts. The only side. If you can see that, you can sigh to the extreme. As soon as he finished, the glass broke. I can't see anything. It's hard to understand. How could he solve the glass? That's our technique. We look forever and still can't understand. Calm down and say, the time of magic is limited. We have adjusted the speed of time. The room there after the glass we put in Tai'an district. Aging to the limit. Glass technology will of course be removed. I was scared to say. It's hard to imagine. This school is terrible. The radio continues to speak. Let's go. The practitioners can't win anymore. Let's go to Yangxia to find him. Standing on the high side. The body is constantly being destroyed. God damn it, the time is up. Haiyan Yu stood at the bottom with his head raised and looked up. You just need to break the link between the gods and the... Except for consciousness, he will be exiled. The problem of evil gods has been solved. Next, I forgot to adjust the time. When he finished, he raised his hand again. The letters in your hand also change. Follow that. The roots of the tree are constantly overflowing. Again using ultra-fast retracement. Very quickly, it all came back to him. After a while, it completely disappeared. I can't see anything. At the same time on the fishing side. 6 in the cave. It was also touched. Jia Lam practitioners in Tai'an district. Deported SAO. Great executive. The sea battle covering Tai and also quickly disappeared. Shi Yu quickly put away his spells. The devil is now coming to your side. I complain about such a big hair. What's the next phase to go flirting with girls? When he heard her cry, he comforted her. Don't be upset. Waiting for me to finish my errands in Tai'an. I will go to Kaifeng to help you ask for some compensation. I won't let you really get hurt. If you hear that, you should be excited. The first 9 words are waiting for the evil god. Didn't you solve it? Why is there still work to be done? Haiyan Yu's eyes squinted back. I just took a quick look. The rest of the people living in Tai'an district are less than 1/10. There is no king. Oxygen accumulated by the locals. It's also hard to stop. Demons in the surrounding area. We worry as soon as we leave. The demons on the mountain will attack at night. He was surprised to ask what to do now. Haiyan Yu quickly replied, take me away. Let's go to Tianshou, borrowing a king to the capital. I have calculated that time is still in time. Then Haiyan Vu immediately sat on the back of the crane, leaving Tai'an. At the same time, inside the Academy of Millions, where Tran Hung's body. Suddenly, he had a spirit flying out of him. And then you're going straight up into the sky. After a watch, he flew to the mountain where he lives. 6 When you see the soul, you shout. Come back to me according to its cry. The soul slowly flew in. Into the trunk on its back. The soul that merged the tree immediately glowed. After a moment, Tran Hung's face appeared on it. At the same time, 10 good people drove the carriage safely back east day. When you get into the city, you breathe out. Thank God. We're in no danger all the way. Finally favorable. Come back and look at me and say. Wait a minute and say these before you go to the bathroom. Report your discovery in Tai'an district. With the owner, let the government go. That's the most important thing right now. Move the scene to the 6. He's standing there, staring at someone. Wake up to see the enemy. Open your eyes, he speaks. You are awake, that person is Chen Hung. He looked at it and suddenly said, This is a dead fish. 6 nodding heads. It must have been 10 days since you died in Thailand. When I hear that, I start to remember. I remember when I was in that hospital. To meet the mastermind behind the rebellion of the Lai Zuyin. And then he killed her 6 times. According to our original plan. After you die, I will prepare a new body for you to use. You are alive again. You have to help me do something. Tran hung in the wooden body, nodded. I know I will keep my promise. But before that, can we take a trip back east? I have not yet arranged for my 2 disciples. The devil in Tai'an district. You also have to report up. 6 responses immediately. The demon in Tai'an district has been dealt with by others. You don't have to worry anymore. Tran Hung was surprised to hear that. Who does that is human trafficking. 6 shaking your head is Haiyan Vu. Tran Hung heard that and was afraid of aesthetics. He used the highest strategy of the court. Look out, Emperor. Your Majesty has paid attention to Li's rebellion. While he was contemplating, 6 said, What about your 2 disciples? Listen to your disciples. He immediately startled with 2 big eyes and asked urgently. They do SAO. Move the scene to the east, attend goodness run to the dentist. Then I heard the false translation where the leopard Feng died. He can't believe it. Ask me again what drives me dead. What is this? Wrong translation, sad trembling say out. That's right, half of his body burned into Cho is really miserable. 10 good listening, finished to big eyes. Then immediately turn around and run out. After a while, he ran back to the inn. When you come in, you immediately scream. 10, 10, 10, are you here? CACA is back. Open the door. It's completely empty. It makes you stand in a stupid spot. A moment later, the monster came. What are you? SAO hadn't finished reporting and suddenly ran back. Just went inside. Then it's suddenly hard to understand. 2 big eyes. I see only 10 good people standing still right now. In front of the bed, not moving. It's coming at your feet, calling out. Hey, did you hear that? If you're listening, you have to react. No matter what it's called. 10 good people standing there without any response. Move the scene to the fishing side. Tran Hung is also in a hurry to ask. What are my 2 disciples doing? 6 levels call out a blue bridge. This is hard to say clearly. Follow him on a trip. Remember that you must not show yourself in front of people. You are not human anymore. East side inside the inn. 10 good people are still sitting in bed. On the one hand, they keep asking. You have not eaten rice for a day. You didn't say anything. 10 sorrowful faces slowly raise their heads. I seem to have lost you. Reluctant to console. Maybe in DTO is what you think. Maybe she's just being too playful. I'll be back soon too. On the opposite side, Tran Hung also came from a distance to look at it. He asked the tree next to him. Why don't you see the 10 glories? The tree calmly replied. Because she was murdered by the mastermind of the Lai Luang Hu rebellion. When you leave, Tran Hung is horrified. Why is that? Be clear. The tree is not fast or slow to say Ra. After you happen to be in exile, do as you say. Before that, I sent a letter to Liao City and Ha Trach. Tran Hung asked later why. The tree slowly told everything. After the Taoist received the letter, I went to the east to find out the situation. Then follow your 10 good disciples. On the way to Tai En, not long after they left, the mastermind of Lai Biu Hu's case. It also came to East Day. They kill people who know it's first. Then take your 10-year-old disciple with you. Tran Hung couldn't believe being asked again. Do you know where they went? The tree shook its head. It can't be determined. When they left, they used the magic. Chan Hung gritted his teeth and yelled at, deserve to die. It's worth dying for. Right behind them, there's a black hole. The sound of 6 degrees from inside transmitted Ra. Don't you worry, your disciples will not. There's nothing wrong. When I heard that, my cold eyes asked me why. The answer is because she volunteered to follow the enemy. After hearing this, Chen Hung turned his head to look at the black hole. No way Sao can be like that. 6 smiles replied. Haha, you've lived together for so long and you haven't noticed. Your 2 disciples are very special. It's not a coincidence that you met. It's what's inevitably created. Because of the historical junctions that attract each other. When I heard that, my eyes closed. 6 more words. Accept the reality. You are just a passerby. Only in their lives. There is no party in this world that doesn't end. Your fate, and they come, is over. 3 days later, the next guide for your disciples will come, ye stay. Your future is not in the east. They are like that, haha. Move the scene to the negative side. The deepest level of hell. 2 evil lie in the white-faced general. I'm sitting here playing chess. 10 good people come now. Don't look at them. I feel 10 good. The white-faced general spoke. I haven't seen him in a long time, and he looks at me. I didn't tell you why. If you have nothing to do, come here. Your current power. Still can't stand the erosion of Udo's soul. 10 good sad say out. My sister was taken away. The white-faced general asked calmly. What is it like? 10 good people quickly tell everything. 10 days ago my master received a letter. After watching it, he told us. I have to go to the county to deal with a little bit. But he never came back after he left. Let's do what the master says before we leave. To find his companion in Hatrach. Let me stay in the east. Follow the Kier to Tai and to find the master. When he heard this, the evil man asked. Until you come back, I can't see you anymore. 10 good nods. That's right, the devil asked. He won to help you watch the Sao. 10 sad goodness replied that he had left the east a long time ago. It is from the air that you strike. Help me deal with the goblins. The white-faced general heard it all. Then you fall into silence. Evil asked again. Do you have a clue who caught me? Will you go? 10 good nods. They came from Tai-An. The white-faced general is speaking now. If you have a clue, go after you get back. Use the method I taught you. To wake me up, and the wooden sacrifice of the evil lie. You take them to Thailand. If in danger, we will give you power. Through a wooden sacrifice. 10 good nods. Later inside the hotel. 10 good is slowly regaining the power of the seed of hell. After a while you wake up. Move the scene to the temple. The king of Tai-An district. 2 people dancing right now. Brought another royal statue here. Look at the newly borrowed royal statue in front of you. He just nodded. This has been going on for a while. Then he turned his head and said to the prophet. Come on, follow me. Let the emperor report this to you. Move the scene to the east. The tree is a little unbelievable, asked Tran Hung. You certainly haven't left like that. Don't talk to him. Tran Hung shook his head sadly. My legacy is inherently incomplete. There was nothing left to teach him. Maybe it would be better to separate like that. When the tree heard that, it nodded. No more advice. Inside the 10 goodness inn is flipping a brick. There's a red wooden box underneath. Hell, It's hard to understand. I asked you what you're doing. 10 Goodness just opened the wooden box. Raw just landed some stuff. Wooden box opens. Inside are 2 wooden figurines of 2 people. White face and evil eye. When I saw them, I was terrified. This is a semi-finished martial arts statue. Where did you get them? 10 Goodness put the knife up to cut into the pale hands, replied. Do it yourself. He then applied his blood to the statue. The small blood on the statue's eyes glowed. Underneath Udo, 2 evil eye people are playing chess. I can see a golden light at the same time, falling down from the sky. He turned to look at the white-faced general. It worked. The white-faced general nodded. Well, it worked. On the side of the inn, after the sacrifice, 10 quick Goodness to pack the wooden man. Then glanced the hell out. Let's go to Tai'an. The hell is licking. My feet are horrible to here. Are you sure? Last time, we almost died. You don't even remember. Your brain isn't broken. At the same time, on the side of the royal palace, the mountain people have gathered here. He looked at the opposite person and asked, the wind and the waves have not yet come. This girl is San Yin 8, dead, one of the world's most bizarre mosaics. When she heard the question, she answered, thousands are on their way. The staff is on duty. It seems to be located in Shinzu. It was discovered by the martial artist who was stationed there. When Qin Yang heard that, he asked, it's 6 dates. I haven't waited for the monster to respond. Above the statue of the king, then there's the light. The silent people looked back. Very quickly from inside the royal statue, then a man in a red coat appeared. He's also one of the 8 dead. It is also the city that has just appeared. He looked at the people asking, what do you say? How long until we get to the damn thing? He looked at her a little afraid. In a moment, I can fuck my head. Then wait a little longer. Move the scene to the side of the fish. Tran Hung and the tree man returned to the 6th level. He was looking at Tran Hung slowly. The village I created for you. It can give you 1,000 years of life, strong vitality, and high compatibility with excellent carpentry system. Its weakness is, you'll lose your taste buds and your ability to eat. Must periodically absorb the anaerobic gas. Use it to replenish the life force you expend. Tran Hung heard this and asked again. There's nothing left. There's nothing wrong. Just say it. 6 Keep talking. French carpentry can have very strong assimilation. It's going to gradually cut off your 7 sexualities, until your feelings are completely gone. The system will lose control. You'll turn into a tree. Tran Hung asked again, is there a way to avoid 6-6? Having a living heart can give you new emotions. Before the owner of the heart dies, the emotions produced are endless. Don't worry, the system will lose control. I heard that Tran Hung had a little understanding. So for life, we have to stop killing people. 6 nodding heads. If you don't want to kill, we can use animal hearts instead. It's just that it's a little less effective. Or you can use the heart of the sea that you get in the closet. Move the scene to the Kai Feng government. Inside the royal city, follow a man who's coming here. Holy Ant Bridge. After a while, the eunuch outside shouted, to declare the commander of the ambassador to the fore. Anti-Semitism and prejudice. The 2 men quickly entered the palace. This old man is the commander of the Russian embassy. This young man is the descendant of rebellion. Is that Wu Yang is also the current white tiger complaining period. When he saw the 2 of them, the emperor was a little curious. Why not seriously come? Immediately save and clasp the handlebar. He came to Tai'an. The prison's crystal mask has been recovered. The emperor nodded when he heard. That's right, at the same time on the side of the sky. To Nin, Trung, and the boss. I'm still playing chess. The old man played the flag and looked at the enemy. You are dead, and you are not there. I waited for the news to come back. Play chess with me. It's not very good. Nin Trung calmly replied. The North 7. In principle, it's not under our control. The old man sighed when he heard that. Your words, if you let the Lord hear them. You'll definitely be scolded. Nin Trung laughed. That's why I came to you to take refuge. At the same time, I looked at the 10-year-old. You can use the fire engine. We can accumulate to pass through the official life. The opposite, after you go back to being a genie. Must help us take the crown in this world. 10 without hesitation to nod. Doesn't matter, right? Now, someone else is coming outside. This girl is the one. One body that tolerates many souls. It's weird. I can't wait to see him answer. He's the reincarnation of the fairy herself. The current control of this body is the female. People who hear that are amazing. The people of this world are getting into the habit of living simply or SAO, and yet, in turn, it's so humbling. See the war in the world. It's worse than we predicted. Then he glanced at him and spoke. This issue can be discussed later. The 10,000 soldiers were hit by a very powerful poison. There's no way we can solve it. People are a little interested in hearing that. Take it out and let me see. Move to the 10 side. Now you've driven your carriage out of the east again. A direction to Tai An. Next door is extremely difficult to understand. I don't understand why you're in such a hurry. What to do? It's dangerous. You know yourself well. I can't wait for the owner to come back and talk. 10 virtues face down landing. We've been waiting for a day. Continue to advise. Maybe that day was busy with something. It is not impossible that day. Move the scene to the opening. The eunuch outside shouted again. Proclamation of the head of the Min government, strictly Hoa, and audience. Wu quickly went into the hall. As he walked in, he was amazed. Master Liu and Wu Yang are also here. Fan Kai immediately turned to greet. Your father is here. He also turned his head and glanced at him. You came just in time. Your Majesty asked about you. The emperor above spoke now. Save thoroughly say, you go to Thailand, investigate the cause of death of the prisoner. Then check it out. Haiyan Vu nodded. Check it out. The fight has moved. The layout of the negative paint in Taiyan district, being a high first tragic, has awakened the eye God kills. The emperor was a little mistrustful when he heard that. Are you sure about the paint? Haiyan Vu slashed the nail to iron. Surely the world has the power to hide its destiny. Killing the emperor right under our eyelids. They don't let us find out. It's just those organizations. But hiding in Hanam Highway only paints sound. The emperor asked again. The king of Thailand is dead. Haiyan Vu quickly recounted. That's right, Sun Yin people has arranged extremely evil sacrifices in Taiyan district. They sacrificed the people of the city. The plot of millions to metamorphose the god Buddha may, we found out in time, interrupt the Christmas ritual before the evil god is resurrected. When the emperor heard it, he thought. After a while, I asked how many people died. Haiyan Vu sadly replied. The lucky number of survivors is less than 1/10. Move the scene to the Sun Yin side. The people are quiet. Watch the Kier detoxify for 10,000 soldiers. I see the enemy sitting there quietly. The soul of the army could not help but ask. Then the Kier calmly replied. You have been hit by the poison of the demon. This poison is fast and strong. After half a day, you will die. 10,000 tense soldiers asked. There is no way to solve it. Find a crane in love over 65. Kill it, grind it into powder, and drink it. This poison will be solved immediately. When you hear that, you speak up. Love is not easy to find. The ocean's frequency speaks again. Sun Hai Ti in the Ming Dynasty raised many seeds. We can go there and find a suitable crane. And hearing that is terrifying. Wait, if I remember correctly. Great Min government is the management area of Haiyan Vu, right? We killed the crane and stole the buffalo right under his eyelids. It's possible we'll start a full-scale war with the first. Not expected. Frequency in the ocean casually respond to clean up neatly. He didn't find out either. Where the hell are you? Glanced at the people who asked. So who's going to go? They should immediately speak up and let me go. Your tricks are too ostentatious. It's not going to work out. Move the scene to the palace. After hearing the words, the emperor asked. So what you mean is? The lord quickly said, my own guess. High ability acoustical paint. Was that there were many false gods in Henan. If we can't destroy the altar before the fall of the Buddha, Nam is afraid of being in danger. When the emperor heard this, he fell into deep meditation. After a while, I looked towards her. How long is the life of Nin Trung to be cured? Immediately respond to your majesty. The fastest is next year. The emperor looked down. Then it's not time. Let him stay in Kaifeng and monitor the land. Then he looked at Haiyan Yu and White Tiger. I'll be back in a minute. Let him take you down to earth. Pick a few handy magic items. The matter of the altar in Henan is given to you. The two White Tigers and Haiyan Vu nodded. He just moved the scene to Shinju. A group of people surrounded a house. They're from 6 states. This man is the leader of 6 states. He looked at the house in front of him and asked, is this place Sao often fell another master road? He stared at the law in his hand. The streets around here. The air in this place is the highest. It's probably this cloth store that's harassing the evil one. This middle-aged man is the owner of 6 states. He is also speaking out right now. Is the seal around here set up? It won't affect the people around. Next to him, a priest quickly replied. It's arranged. This person is Kim Rooster. He is also an owner of 6 states. It's like he said around this house. Has been arranged with countless spells attached to the watchman. The writer continues to delegate. Burn this house first. Let's see if we can force the evil inside Ra. According to him, 2 people set fire to the front door. Inside the house, a young man in red is standing here. He glanced at the evil god behind him a little unhappily. Tell me about the trouble you caused. Stop eating and come back here. It's good now. I've dragged the martial arts masters of this place. Fortunately, we are nearby. You can run back in time to clean up. If not, I don't know your clay body. Can you keep it? The evil god behind the face is extremely cruel. There are 2 gills on both sides, like fish gills. His eyes were cold, filled with murder, and he didn't speak. Very quickly, the house was covered in a great fire. Park Feng spoke incomprehensible. They're all burning up like this. It's not there yet. Ra shouldn't be. Calmly replied. Wait a minute. Move the scene to the front. They are leading by 2 men. And White Tiger came to ban the general department of the Lotus. To see Haiyan Vu, the prisoners inside kept screaming. Seriously, get out here. Just die. What's the big wind outside today? That's why the old man is here. The old man greeted him, that he didn't even bother to say "Sao." Usually these guys, White Tiger's first time here was a little confusing. These are. Save it, of course. It's good to get used to it. Every time I come here, I have to hear these words. White Tiger is even more curious. Why not wait for a response? One of the prisoners responded. Because the prisoners are here. Most of them are fake turtles. White Tiger looked at him and asked him who he was. The people on him immediately sprang up, and the eyes answered. You can call me the 100 Priests. Amber looked directly at him with those eyes. The eyes are red, as if falling into some kind of illusion. He saw that and immediately stood in front of him. White Tiger is awake now. Be a little more honest. The Kier gathered their laughing magic. Just kidding. Not that you really think. I have the ability to rely on that. That sewed the specter on you. The queen is out there. Coldly glancing at the enemy. Are you kidding, or don't you know yourself? This is the last time you commit a crime again. I will take you down to see your grandparents. Waiting for people to go away, the angry man's voice dropped. The old turtle deserved to die. Very fast, 3 people came to a giant door. There's a sound coming out immediately. Need something to be used for. Save it immediately. There's a secret organization. Are performing inappropriate sacrifice rituals. In Henan, you are worried. God's people will use this ritual to destroy the earth. Send us over there to clean up. We are currently missing the national flag. Can monitor and control the Buddha's incarnation. The person inside thought for a moment, then said, wait a minute. White Tiger can't stand it right now. Turned to ask Hai and Vu. What tricks did the wise man use just now? I was just temporarily caught off guard. He almost hit his target again. Calmly, he replied, you said multiple items. He is the second god of this world. Of a master in another world. The way above you. But the power and the position are not commensurate. It's still a disaster in front of us. White Tiger is amazing to hear that. People of the other world Sao. Hai and Yu smiled and answered. Haha, really Ra, there's a lot of great learning in this world. It's used by people in other worlds. The second god brought it here. The corn we eat. All the things in the world are things. From another world. I am not going to tell you these things. White Tiger shakes his head. There is no. You never mentioned any of this to us. The 2 of them were talking inside the door. Something gets pushed out. These 3 national flags. The first one from the left is the South. Also known as Kim Ching Nam. It's the first thing in this world called Vuan. It has 2 uses. One is pointing in the direction there are evil things and people with evil intentions. Dangerous for the holder of the Ti Nam within a 100-mile radius. This use is counter-divination, anti-prediction. It's almost impossible to avoid. 2 is only for children under 14. Capable of leveling up a disaster within 100 miles. White Tiger heard and applauded excitedly. This is good. We can use it to find the mastermind in Henan. The sound inside continues. The second object is the Jewish headpan. Your Majesty, according to the pre-dynastic classics, built Ra. This path can be carved with Buddhist carpets. When he heard the second object, he nodded. This object can be of great help. I used to use it that year. He beheaded the North Sea Dragon King. When he finished speaking, the sound echoed. The third thing is thousands of people. It's made up of people's anger. Died in a promotional event. The use of the word has not yet been determined. I just know it can weaken. Restriction of unorthodox sacrifices. and the fairies used too much fire incense.